I'm Cammy, back from the southwest of Scotland. I'm a songwriter, you could say. I lay bricks and just endure the struggle. It's the only thing I can remember being awarded for at school. I got a gold sticker off the headmaster at primary school for writing a poem. So I suppose I would have done it a little bit before then. I can always remember messing about with words and poems. I felt well practiced at that poem. So very early. That would be like, I would be 6 or something then. And I've always, I came away from it when I went off the rails a bit in my teenage years, I suppose. But I was always thinking of stuff and I was always writing things down. I only really sat with the guitar properly in my later teens, I think. But I'd always, the writing was always, I always done the writing. Don't mind, I really enjoyed it. Well, I think every boy wants to be a footballer. I would have wanted to be a footballer at most of the time. My career, I would have played for Anan Athletic when I was a young boy. I went to Queen of the South when I was 13ish or something. When I left school actually when I was 15 to play they got a football scholarship thing at University of Central Lancashire, and I played football every single day. And then I got bored. And then when I was 16, I would have been introduced to the Stella Artois, and the football just kind of took a back seat then. But I still love it. I've started playing actually indoors on a Friday night, five-a-side. Fantastic. It's a great game. But I don't. Footballers are strange people. So I wouldn't. Footballers are strange, but the game's good. I love the game. It's a beautiful thing. But see, when I play football on a Friday night from 8 to 9, I think of nothing else. Nothing else even enters my mind apart from football, and it's quite a nice thing, that. Yeah. That's my football, and that was it, my football career. So it's still going. Musical journey. Well, I could. When I was, just before I started the academy, so P7, now I was a young one, so I was 11 when I went into the academy. And you get an option to whether to learn an instrument or not, don't you? And my dad suggested that I try and learn the guitar. My dad's a big music fan. A lot of my musical influences, like the Springsteen thing, come from my dad. My mum is a heavy influence with my music as well. We're both quite good taste in music. He suggested I play the guitar, so I started to play. I said I will, because I was a big Back to the Future fan and I wanted to learn Johnny B. Good. So when I started playing, I would say to the teacher, can he be learning you? He'd be learning you. If you try to teach you when the Saints go marching in and that. And I was like, this is shit. I said, can you teach me Johnny B. Good? He was like, no. I said, well, I'm fucking it. And I would, there was another boy at the same time. There was two of us, there were only two of us in the whole year learning the guitar. So it was me and another boy. I can remember his name, but I'll not say it. He had like a Gibson. I bought the guitar, my dad bought me the guitar, the guitar shop in Dumfries. It was £67. This with nylon strings and that, this guitar. It had a big grey plastic case and I felt like a prick taking it to school. All my mates played football and that, they weren't into it wasn't as cool then playing the guitar or that at school. And I felt like a right prick on a Wednesday. Used to take it. Where was I going there? Aye, and the boy that was learning with me, he'd pay for months in advance. And the teacher, you paid the teacher. It didn't go through the school or anything. I don't know how it works now. But you handed the teacher cash. That's not right, is it? It can't have been that something was going on there. Anyways, he would pay for months in advance, and I would be like that with coppers, like literally pennies and 1 pences and 2 pences in the money bag, and I'd fling it out on the table for him, and he just didn't like me, and I would be, oh, teach me Johnny, be good. He'd be like, no. We'd learn when the Saints go marching in, or fucking jingle bells, and like with the single notes, ding, 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 ding. And I thought, the fuck with this, I'm going back to play football, and I quit. Oh, like I said before, I always kept writing, and then I never picked it up again until my late teens. I wish I'd stuck at it, but what can you do? I never had much interest in playing covers ever. I didn't ever feel like I was good enough to play covers. So I always wrote, like from the minute, even when I was 11, I wasn't, and apart from Johnny Be Good, I wasn't interested in learning anybody else's songs. I always wanted to write my own. And I did very early. I was only writing my own songs. So when I picked it up again, I was still doing the same, and I come in to Dumfries in the studio with Grant Henderson at Lovers Walk, recorded a few songs. I had a band with my pal up from Greenock. We started a band called Tumbling Dice, playing our own songs, putting them on SoundCloud and stuff. And then I released the first song Last Minute Man when I was like properly, that was like the properly putting on iTunes and all them places in maybe 2011 or 12 or something. And then we've just kept playing from there. We started the 13 Crows in 2016, toured when we toured a lot, played a lot, and then the COVID come and we were flying before the COVID. I said to the boys, I was saying to them, like, here we go, this is it, and we've cracked it here. And then the fucking COVID come and fucked it all. But what can you do? Everybody was the same. I always feel very, I don't know, I always think, maybe it was bad timing for everybody, wasn't it? But it just felt kind of when you were on the cusp of something that you'd worked so long for, and then you were stopped for 2 years. Still a bitter pill to swallow, but we just got to keep going. I don't know really. At the start, it was that we were trying to make it that lo-fi, stripped back. Whereas with the 13 Crows, we wanted the guitars to sound as heavy as possible and thingy, that punk rock kind of thing. To be honest, I'm still writing about the same things, but so it's only the things that I can't get away from writing. I will always write about bricklayers because I'm a bricklayer. Do you know what I mean? I'm not very good at pretending to be someone else. I feel very passionate about that way of life or those type of people, and I love, because of who I am and what I am, I love hearing somebody singing from the same, coming from the same place as me. So that's what I always do. I'll always write about the same sort of subject matter, I suppose. I'm not going to write about like driving Ferraris or fucking anything like that, because I drive a fucking Vauxhall Combo. No, it does that with me. The part that comes naturally is the little bits, like I've got notepads full of like nice wee lines or a chorus or a verse or just a couple of words. That comes, I'm always thinking about them things and I'm always writing them down. Or even little melodies I'll often think, or little bits on the guitar, or how something should go. But the hardest part is, right, you need to finish this here, and sitting down with all those ideas, I'll scatter them all about and go, right, and that's the hardest part, because I'll overthink them. But I think it's best when you don't overthink them. Just finish it. And I try to say, I've got to talk to myself properly and say, look, Cammy, fucking behave and finish it. Yeah. Because it'll always change anyways. Even after it's recorded, it changes, doesn't it? Like, when you're playing it live every night, you'll change a wee bit here and there, it'll change the way you sing it and stuff. So, but as painful as writing songs may be, it's not as painful as laying bricks in fucking -4 or something. You get what I mean? So, it's no that. It's a different pain. It's funny that, because somebody messaged me that week talking about Anan, how much they loved Anan, and what a mental week it had been in Anan that week, because well, I was going under the name. They said what a mental week it had been in Anan, because that same week they had been lighting fires at the football club at Anan Athletic. There'd been a car had been lifted and sat on the roundabout on top of a barrel, like a firing barrel. That's what it was. It was like a drum, like a steel drum. On the main roundabout at Tesco's in Anan, there was a car sat on top of this steel drum. There'd been fires lit at the football club. There was something else happening. He said, then Cammy Black changed his name to CN Bonnet to avoid the tax man. He said, what a week it had been in Anan. That's what he said. So the crack with somebody, I don't want to mention any names because I know who it was. I know him very well. Somebody had upset him, and he's got the means of being able to lift this car on top of the roundabout. The police knew it was him and all, but because he'd complained to the police about this guy. He's done this to me. I can't say too much, can get folk into trouble, won't you? But the police knew. He says, look, you've got to do something about this. He's doing this. If you don't do something about it, I will. And they didn't do something about it, obviously. The next day, the car was on top of the roundabout in the steel barrel. I can't really say anything more about that. It's funny because are you still recording?
Yeah.
A couple of weeks later, the same guy done something else. He left like a little calling card. I can't really tell you what his calling card was, but it was a statue of a certain whiskey brand. There's a whiskey brand, very famous, world famous whiskey brand, that's got like what could you call it, a mascot, or the logo for the whiskey brand is a person with a name that belongs to the name of the guy. So he left it in the car park. There was another car turned on its. And they left it he left the statue in the car park. I thought that was nice. That was like Batman and like the Joker. That was like the wee calling card of the Joker. I quite like that. But I know him well. It's a funny old place, isn't it? The best. I can't think of the worst, because it'd be a bit ignorant, wouldn't it? Like, it's a present, so how can it be bad? You had a worse present. It's a wee bit out of order. I'm not ungrateful. But the best present I've given would have to be my little girl was desperate for a puppy, so I got my dog Bruce for her Christmas. But it's the best. Although I don't like to think of him as a gift. No, he is a gift. I don't like to think of him as a present, but he's the best thing. The dogs are far better than humans, so he's the best. I hate leaving him. I can't leave him. I get a separation anxiety. Even sitting here now, I'm thinking, what? He's with somebody, and I know who he's with, and I know he's fine, but so that's the best present I've given. Favourite teacher? No. So to be honest to you, my favourite teacher I've had would be in college when I was learning how to lay bricks. Derek Wells, he was just be 16, 17 years old, and he just started teaching at the college, so he was just like fresh off a building site. He was more like he was like us. He didn't feel like a teacher. He was like a pal, and he was a good laugh. So he would be my favourite. I still get on with my music teacher, although I didn't take music at school, so I only done it for a couple of years. Jamie Brand, he's a good guy. Still speak to him regular. I would still go to his house I was learning how to play the piano and stuff, and he would kind of help me out a bit. They're the only two I can even think of. I can't even think of any other teachers off the top of my head. Apart from the ones that told me I couldn't do something. I never saw that one. If I had 14 kids, I'll have an answer to that. Charles. Is that a good one? Is it? I would never call my kid Charles. I've not got any bad habits. I think. My worst habit on tour. Eat McDonald's. You could see me have 3 McDonald's in a day. Aye, I'm bad for that. I'm not very organised with things. So I will lose stuff all the time, like toothbrushes and shirts. I would always have to borrow the other boys' clothes. After photographs of me on tour, I'm in Jason's shirt, Dickie's trousers. But McDonald's, I think, would be the worst one. I've seen me have 3 Big Mac meals in one day. But a Big Mac is a Big Mac wherever you go. Big Macs are consistent. McDonald's is McDonald's. When you see them golden arches, it's like a beacon of hope. Yes, I'm happy. I'm happy. We'll always ask people if they're happy. It's just a thing. So I think somebody else did it. Somebody must have asked me if I was happy once. And I thought that's a good thing to ask. So even I will ask everybody that I meet if they're happy. That would be my first question when I meet them in the street. So if I'm at a shop getting served by somebody, I'll say, "Are you happy?" And they look at me like I'm fucking stupid. And what? I'm a what? Are they happy? And because it's not a thing that everybody says, is it? And I hate when people ask me if I'm busy. Are you busy? Are you not working today? It's like, I hate it. So I make a point of asking them if they're happy, so now it's rubbing off, which is nice. Are you recording?
Yeah.
I genuinely think about it every day, but mind, I'm from just north of Hadrian's Wall. So when I look out my living room window, I can see the skyline, the hills where Hadrian's Wall goes across. So I'm well within my rights to think about the Roman Empire several times. I do genuinely think about it several times a day. More specifically, the 9th Legion, the Ajax Hispania. Have you heard of them? It was like supposedly their best legion that they had. A legion's like 4,000 or 5,000 men, and they disappeared. Like they were erased from history, and no one knows where they went. But the last recorded thing was they came north into Caledonia, and they got wiped out. But historians will tell you that it wasn't the Scottish, because especially English historians, they don't like it to be the Scottish that wiped them out. But I have a very solid theory that it was the Scottish, and I think I know where they are. But I'm not going to tell anybody. We done the song, we finished the song like a year before the video, and then we went to do the video. But it was February, it was absolutely Baltic in February of last year. And I was sitting with this suit on in a stool in the beach. And I was singing it in double time, so it was got to be me just sitting in a stool singing this song. And I got home we'd done a wee bit of it. I got home that night and I thought, something wasn't right. I thought it was got to be a bit, yeah. So I said, listen, the guy that's in this song obviously isn't fine. He's definitely not fine, so I'm going to come up tomorrow night and I'm going to go mental. So like I was in some sort of asylum. And he says, right, fine. So I went up and I started going nuts. I thought it was, I was quite nervous about it, but I really relaxed into it. I was punching myself in the face and everything. Like the next day I had bruises all over my head for where I was punching myself. But that was the story. I think it worked out quite well. I've always, I like to read. I think I write better if I'm reading all the time. Especially Stephen King. I think Stephen King is a songwriter's dream. Because when I'm reading his books, I need my notepad next to me. Because every page there's something, even if it's just two words that just spark something in your brain. I think that's where I pick most of my things up from reading. Although movies, I like movies for that as well. There's always, I wrote a song the other day that was my favourite movie is True Romance. It was Tarantino's, I think, the second movie he wrote, and I tried to turn the whole movie into a song. So it's a lot of movies as well. It's never really a riff because I can't really play. I've not got any plans of having another band apart from the 13 Crows. Right now, because of circumstances, I'll just go out with my guitar and play. If we can get to a point where we're able to get back on the road, the 13 Crows will go again. But I've not got any. I wouldn't. I've known them boys. It's good. We're good with the 13 Crows. It's the happiest I've been in a band. So if I play with a band again, it'll be them. I still train. I like the training. I want to get fighting again. It would be nice to fight again. I'm trying to concentrate on the music now. But I love it. I go training in the morning, so it keeps it out the road. The Screenplay, I was obsessed with the Marquis of Queensberry because he's from like a mile from my house. So I looked into his life and it was a fascinating life. I think it's a hard time. He was kind of forgotten throughout history. I go away fucking on tangents, don't I?
No, this is good.
He was kind of forgotten about throughout history, the Marquis of Queensberry, because he had dealings with Oscar Wilde. But see, this is the ADHD thing in me, innit? I got why? It's dealings with Oscar Wilde. It was a shame because Oscar Wilde's a wrong'un. He is. Yeah. But because he come out the whole thing smelling of roses, and Marquis of Queensberry was kind of just remembered for that, whereas the story behind it is fascinating, man. He fought for the woman's right to vote in the 1800s, and they all thought he was crazy for wanting women to vote. They all thought he was crazy for not believing the church. Like they called him an atheist. If you Google the Marquis of Queensberry, it calls him a homophobic atheist brute. But he wasn't homophobic. He was friends with Oscar Wilde. He wasn't friends with him, but he liked him. But it was just because of the way that things were in those days that he wanted. It's a deep one. It's a deep rabbit hole to get down. But anyways, that was what my screenplay was about. I felt like history had done him an injustice, and I wanted to put it right. I'm going on tour. I'm going on tour in April next year, 2024. We're in the middle of booking it now. First shows are confirmed. I'm going to release an album. I had another idea for another album. I want to put as much out as I can just now. I was thinking, I had an idea the other day that I was going to put an album out because I've got loads of songs that I've written and recorded on my phone. There's loads of them there. I thought I could put these out and just call it voice memos. You know what I mean? I'm just so that I'm going to put that out I could put that out in a few weeks. But I'm just got to keep going. I'm enjoying myself now. That 2 years we had off, I'd kind of lost not the passion, but lost the desire. I kind of just relaxed into being a bricklayer and a father. I've really got the hunger and that for it again. I'm enjoying my music, even at the bare bones of it, just sitting with my guitar playing. I think that's what you need to do, don't you? You need to enjoy it. So I've got to keep going just now. Sorry.